YieldMax MSTY is hitting that resistance line. Can it get enough volume and momentum to get past that resistance line? I don't know. Let's look a little bit further into it. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today MSTY had a green candle, but the numbers here are red, and the reason they're red is because the close of the day before was at $22.80 and the close for today being $22.58. So since it actually closed under yesterday's close, it will show this number up here as red because it is 22 cents below the original close of the day before. Now it's green because it opened at $22.49 but closed at $22.58. So it closed higher than it opened, but it is still under yesterday's close. So that can be a little confusing, I'm sure, but that's why you see the candle is green, but the numbers are red and showing it's down. So as you can see here, MSTY hit that resistance here, and it did come back down, and it looks like it's trying to get back up there to try to test it again, and we'll see if it can do that tomorrow, or will it cool off and come down a little bit more. We'll have to wait to see on that one. For MSTY, let's check out Mr., which is the underlying of MSTY. So here we are on Mr. So as you can see, same deal, right? Because it follows, MSTY follows Mr., so the graphs are going to look very, very similar. It hit that resistance line and came down. And it hit it over here as well previously, and that's what we drew the line from, and it did make it up there again and then came down. But like I said, it is a green candle today. We'll see if tomorrow can give us a bit more green to see if we can test that resistance line and hopefully break through it. If not, we could be coming back down a little bit to cool off before we try again. As you can see here, the MACD, the momentum bars here, they are green, but they are reducing. So that means the line is curling back down slightly, means we're losing momentum, but that could also mean that they're just cooling off a little bit before jumping back in and pushing this on back up for Mr. But that's not guaranteed. We could be coming back down to test that support line. So let's also check out the EMA for Mr. here. And to do that, right now we're looking at the actual. So I'm going to switch that to the adjusted, as it is a better chart for looking at indicators versus just your highs and your lows. I use that actual for that. Any kind of indicators on the graph here, I would use the adjusted chart. So I'll switch this here to adjusted. And now we're looking at the adjusted chart. Doesn't look very different, but it does definitely change the indicators. So let's go ahead and turn on the EMA. So here, looking at the EMA for Mr. And as you can see, it came down. It hit that 200 EMA. And the EMA is the exponential moving average. And that's a 200-day exponential moving average. So it did come down, and it crossed it a little bit, but it never really closed below it. So it is trying to respect that 200 EMA, and then it bounced off of it, which that's a good sign for a bullish move. So I like that part. So as long as we can stay above that 200 EMA and the fact that it is still curling up, again, that's a nice positive sign. Let's check out what MSTY looks like. And as you can see, the same thing, right? Bouncing off of it, basically off of that 200 EMA, and still battling with that resistance line. But as this rises, that 200 EMA rises, this here will get tighter and tighter. And as that does, then it's like a compressed spring. It's going to either pop out or it's going to break down, right? One way or the other, the spring's going to release. So we'll see over time if this can start to put those candles more in a wedge and then see if we can get a breakout one way or the other. But I'm hoping that we can keep chipping away, basically keep going up, keep hitting that resistance line until eventually on Mr. they run out of sellers and then the buyers can take over. MSTY is just mimicking Mr. They are selling calls against Mr. So therefore their upside is capped, but they take 100% of the downside of the underlying, and the underlying being Mr. So really when you're looking at these, you have to look at the underlying to see how it's going, because this is the one where people are buying and selling in versus MSTY. MSTY is selling calls against the underlying, right? So the good sign here is Mr. is bouncing off of that 200 EMA. So that's a positive move. The negative side is the MACD is losing a little momentum, but again, that could be just cooling off before taking off again. And the RSI, the 14 RSI is at 55, so it's pretty neutral. Still could go either way. So let's just go ahead while we're here and check out the SPY, which is basically the overall market, is what I use for the overall market. And as you can see here, there's that 200 EMA. It broke down below it and then was trying to get above it, and then it popped up above it, right? Right here, it did pop back up. So once it did break it, it popped up right here. So here we are above it, and now we're coming down and retesting that 200 EMA on the SPY. Now that 200 EMA currently is at 565.38, and we closed at 567. So we are right there on it and very close to it. But if we can stay above it, we could use it like a trampoline and take back off. Of course, then the next battle is going to be breaking this resistance line, right? But we're getting kind of tight right here between the 575 and the 200 EMA at 565. So we're only at a $10 window here, range. It's one of them's going to be breaking out. I'm not sure which one. It could be breaking on down. And if so, then we could be headed on down for a little bit lower prices. But if we can get above that resistance, we could be headed back up, and then use that resistance line would then become a support line. And the goal is to get back up here above our regular overall trend line here that we've been riding for over a year here. As you can see, that trend line is just riding right up. I'll turn the EMA off so you can see that line a little bit better. And even on the 5-year, you can see right here, I mean, it's overall, it's up, right? But that 1-year trend line right here, that would be the goal eventually, is to get back up above that line. And in my opinion, over time, it will. It's just that nobody knows when. So as far as MSTY goes, I think we're still looking to try to get that price up above that 23.42, above that resistance line. And of course, that all depends on Mr. Mr. getting above that 344.50 line right there. So if we can get that above that, then MSTY should follow. And then hopefully we can get above my cost. My cost being 25.31. I would not mind that at all. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I just wanted to give an update on MSTY, that we are bouncing and chipping away at that resistance line. And we'll see if we can't break it in the next bit of time. So if you don't mind, please hit the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And also subscribe. It helps the channel out. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.